everyone, welcome to Q&J. It's back. I don't know if I'm what episode number. I might just call this episode 1. We'll see. I don't exactly know what episode. Whatever episode it is, I'll find out the episode number eventually. So whatever episode it is. Yeah, it's back. And that's when it's important. So thank you so much for leaving your comments in the previous video. And today I'm just going to go over most of them in some detail, discuss some, and have a good time. And it might be long, so it's not going to be in high def. Because it's going to be very long. Well, it could be long. We'll see. So we'll start off with the very first comment by Jacob Pizzo. And it is, Jay, why are you so awesome? I don't know. That's a good question. I try to be awesome. I try to drink awesome stuff and eat awesome stuff and stay awesome. But that's a good question. And I like Warhammer 40k, and that's what people think is awesome. So that's good, you know. I try to be a good person. Try to eat quasi-healthily. Wear good shirts. Keys to being awesome. Harrison K. What units will you consider bringing that you never brought before the new edition, 7th edition? I think we're talking about. And do you stand by your original view of 7th Ed? Yes, I do stand by my original view of 7th Ed. It is very, very close to 6th Ed, plus the Psychic Phase, and depending on who you're up against, the Psychic Phase is negligible. If you're playing Orks, you don't have many Psychers. If you're playing against Grey Knights or Demons, they're going to negate most your Psychic powers. And it really does remind me of 2nd edition, yeah. But it's okay. You know what? I'm not hating on 7th edition. I like it. It is still very focused on shooting, not very focused on assault. So if you should plan your armies according to the shooting and not mostly by the assault. But the assault can still be powerful. You just need to get in your opponent's face very quickly. And what units would I consider bringing that I didn't really before? The answer is mostly fast attack. In each army that I play, there's a fast attack choice that is very, very close in what it does to a normal troop. For example, interceptor squads for Grey Knights are just the normal squads plus jump packs. Orks have Storm Boys. Now they're just normal boys plus jump packs. Tyranids have Gargoyles. And I didn't really consider them before, though they are fast and they're good, but they basically perform the same action as the troops, but they aren't scoring. And that's why they were appropriately costed as such. They were faster, but they weren't very expensive because they couldn't score. Now in the new 7th edition, anything can score. So now I'm going to try out bringing some fast attack choices. Because now that they can negate and score units, Gargoyles are going to be awesome in squads of 30, you know, throw them across the board, and if they can score units. Or Storm Boys are going to be fun, interceptor squads. So that'll be the answer. Probably the fast attack choices, you're going to find me bringing more of them in my armies. When I used to not bring many fast attack choices at all. CD Scotty. What is your opinion on the tournament scene in Warhammer 40k? Do you think that you can do a tournament scene with the current rules, or do you think that Games Workshop has really geared the game towards cinematic beer and pretzels? Thank you for your answer. So, do I think that you can do a tournament scene? Yes. You can do tournament scenes. Will you see the same 3 armies at the top of every tournament? Most likely. I've witnessed a few tournaments. When I was at Adepticon, for example, I watched a bunch of tournaments. But the only thing, though, is, like, in the competitive play tournaments, everyone was either Eldar or Tau or Space Marines. Some people were playing for fun, and you could tell, like, the fun players who always played Tyranids brought Tyranids. But you saw amongst the people who were very competitive, as well as the top tier lists, like, I saw who won the tournaments in each one, and the top people, everyone had Riptides, and everyone had Wraith Knights. So, that being said, you can still have tournaments. Just expect the same armies to dominate because there isn't very much external balance. But I do feel that right now the key for 40k is great for the friendly beer and pretzels, as you call it. I do find that'll be a lot of fun because as fun players, you don't necessarily have to rely on the same lists, and you can have a lot of fun. The game is fun. I love playing it. It's a fun game, but I still think that there can be tournaments. That being said, some of these models that they keep bringing out are just more crazy and more crazy. The Imperial Knights with their Strength D close combat weapons is pretty insane. But I still think there's a tournament scene. It's just the internal balance is not there. Sorry, the external balance and the internal balance is not there. So rather than relying purely on skill, a lot of people will be relying on their army lists, and so be it. Airbrush Wargaming says, as an Orc player, how would you defeat a Farside Enclave army as they kick ass in close combat with the perverted enemy Orcs? I really want to know so I can link the J to my Q, to my Orc friend, so that he will be less afraid to play against me. Thanks. It is a really hard battle. Playing Tau against Orcs is really hard. You're going to have to rely, you either have to A, close the gap extremely fast. So even non-bikers, they can move up turn 1 and they're going to be shot to death that turn. Playing Tau against Orcs is a really hard battle. Especially against Farside Enclave, who is preferred enemy. But that being said, as soon as you get in close combat with Tau, they will fall. Their preferred enemy in close combat won't really save them. Rerolling 1s to hit into wound. You either go extreme mass boys. I think now mass boys with 3. You gotta have 3 big mechs with custom force fields. Bring as many big mechs with custom force fields, because now instead of them giving a 5-up cover, they give a 5-up invul, which is really sweet. So you bury them in a squad of boys. They get a huge bubble for their 6 inches, right, in each direction, get the invul, and you can get them across the field. That might be the key. Or maybe not bikers with a mech boy on a bike with a custom force field. You got to use the custom force fields against Tau now, because Tau are good at negating invul. Oh, sorry, Tau are very good at negating cover saves, but Tau are not good at negating invuls. What other things? Another great unit you might want to bring are commandos. Since they can come on his table edge, they can come on with flamer templates and go. Now, seeing that your opponent might be able to negate that by just lining up these guys along the board edge, but that would be a good unit to bring too. Perhaps Storm Boys, because they'll only give your opponent 1 round of shooting before they will get to them. And so they will have to bury a lot of fire into those Storm Boys. A couple waves of Storm Boys you won't be able to deal with. So I'd say fast-moving units, Storm Boys, maybe like maybe even like War Treks with Scorches would be fun, because you can move up very quickly and then scorch the Tau. Yeah, so fast attack choices will be key, and I think invuls. So bring some custom force fields. They will be key, because they give a 5+ invul now, and Tau will have to bury a lot of fire to move up 5+ invul guys, especially if you're a hot roller. Jim White. Which analogous paint schemes from the red, yellow, blue ski color wheel should be avoided on miniatures? To be honest, I don't really think any color scheme should be avoided on miniatures. Red, yellow, blue color scheme. You can kind of create any. My mentality has always been you can kind of create any one you want. Now, that being said, my favorite schemes are usually the more interesting ones are usually the more original ones. So if you are playing Space Marines, for example, and you have a giant blue army, you're Ultramarines or Crimson Fists. To me, the cool ones, the better schemes are always the ones that are more interesting and tend to. I really like the smaller factions of Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines or Orks, the ones that you don't typically see in the armies. Those are the ones. But really, I don't think there's some that should definitely be avoided. There are some that are hard to see, like black. If you're a Space Marine player, for example, and you're doing black and very dark blue, not a good combination. I personally like color combinations in Space Marines where there are 2 very strong contrasting colors. Like, that's what I do. I do agree with the Ultramarines color scheme: blue, dark blue, and yellow or gold. 2 colors that stand out very differently. Crimson Fists, dark blue, red. Colors that stand out very differently. Imperial Fists, yellow and red and black. 3 different colors that are very different. So I'd recommend color, if you're going with the color scheme, go with colors that really do stand out and separate each other. Like my Tyranids, for example, is an off-white and dark blue. So 2 colors that have very strong contrast. That's what I recommend. Dr. Roctopus, which is possibly the coolest name I've read on this in a long time, says, I'm going to cheat and ask 2 questions. Okay, I'm going to accept that. Firstly, I like to get into airbrushing, but have no idea of what to be doing? Got any tips for a newbie? Yes, and that question, I will be actually creating a series of videos in the near future. I've ordered some equipment, but it's going to take a while to come. I'm going to do a Airbrushing Miniatures 101 line of videos. It's going to be coming in the near future, so I'd probably see in about a month, because that's how long the company told me that it'll take to get the airbrush stuff to me. But I want to make a line of videos and tips for you guys when airbrushing miniatures. I do recommend either not necessarily starting with dirt cheap airbrushes, because they tend to break pretty easily. I'd recommend starting with a general airbrush. You know, like if you went Badger, you go Patriot 105. Because Patriot 105 can paint anything from small to large. It's not a very specific airbrush to its feature. It can do anything. So start with that. I actually recommend, if you don't have a lot of money, start with a simple hobby hobby compressor. You know, the little elephant ones. I use them when I started getting airbrushing. They're great. They don't give you a lot of control over the PSI, but that being said, when you're just getting into airbrushing, you're not going to be concerned about PSI. So it'll be a great way to get into airbrushing. Don't use the propellant cans. They're terrible. Air compressor tanks are really good, but obviously you have to get your hands on an air compressor tank, like the crazy tall ones that go, you know, they're good. And as a new person, the key is consistency. You're going to find that when painting using an airbrush, the key is consistency. If you have too thick of paint, it's going to come out blotchy, too watery. It's going to come out very quickly and spiderweb, as people say. You know, it creates that weird, like thin, cracked effect. So the key is consistency, and you'll try things. Just try different consistencies until you figure out the right one. That being said, you could start off with air. I do highly recommend lineups like Vallejo Model Air and Badger Miniature, since they are designed specifically for airbrushes. You don't really have to worry about consistency. You can shake them up out of the bottle, put them in, and you're good to go. Yeah, that's what I'd say. So for cost, start with a general airbrush and such things as like a hobby compressor. They'll last you a long time. Take good care of your airbrush, and they'll take care of you. And wear a mask and work in a ventilated area. I make that mistake all the time, and it hurts. Secondly, in one of your previous Q&Js, you showed a potential Imperial Fists army. I did. My jealous curiosity has gotten the better of me, and basically, how is it going? Cheers, Jay. So, the Imperial Fists army is kind of on the back burner, but not. Basically, each month, starting in July, I'm actually going to start working really hard. Starting next week, I'm going to do a painting vlog, and I'm going to give myself monthly challenges. And my first challenge is Signar, because I've looked at all my armies right now, and I can do battle reports for Grey Knights, Dark Angels, you know, Necrons, Tyranids, and Orks. But I can only do like one battle report with painted models for Signar. So I'm going to spend a month, probably a month and a half, painting up my Signar, getting a bunch of different army lists compiled for my Signar. Then after that's done, I'm going to finish up my Orks, which will only take me a week or two, and then I'm going to work on my Imperial Fists. So probably by the end of the summer, you'll start seeing them pop up, and they're going to be in battle reports. I wanted a Space Marine faction for battle reports, and Imperial Fist is my favorite faction. I have about 1,500 points already that I have collected that I'll be painting up, and I think it'll be fun. I really like Lysander. He's awesome, so I can't wait to field him. Wrecked says, Happy Tau Day, 628, to all the people. Well, Happy Tau Day to you. Happy belated Tau Day. I don't know 628. 628. I don't get it if it's a play on numbers. Like pi is 314. I don't know. 628. But Happy Tau Day to you, Wrecked. Cipriano Lopez, are you still part of Mini Wargamers? Now, you're probably asking, am I still working for Mini Wargaming, or miniwargaming.com? And the answer is no. I did. I unfortunately had to leave Mini Wargaming. We left on amazing terms, and I wish them nothing but the best. The reason why I left, in case it's brought up in future questions, the reason why I left is because I had to move. My wife got an awesome job offer in Peterborough, and I wanted to give her the same support that she's given me, and so I decided that I didn't decide, but we both decided together that the moving would be the best option for us. And unfortunately, that meant it's like a 4-hour commute from here to Mini Wargaming each way. Not possible. And with Mini Wargaming, Matt and Dave, I would be required to work there, so it's okay. So I had to move away, And now I'm doing the warp, and I'm making videos full time for both my free content and the warp, and I've never been happier. So it's all great. And as I said, I wish Mini Wargaming nothing but the best. Do you play fantasy and at all? And if so, can you do a battle report? I don't play fantasy. I can play fantasy. I did a couple of fantasy battle reports for Mini Wargaming with the Bretonnians army. Unfortunately, the Bretonnian army was a studio army, and eventually I might get into fantasy. But right now, my priorities is really, this is my priorities, is to get my models painted for 40k. That way I can do a bunch of different battle reports for a bunch of different armies for 40k. And then War Machine and Hordes. And then I want to branch off into other games. And the next games I really want to tackle are either Malifaux or Infinity after War of Hordes. And eventually I might get to I might get to fantasy. I kind of prefer to specialize in my battle reports as opposed to do everything. And the biggest problem with only being a one-person team is I can't please everyone if I branch out to like 6 different games. So I'd rather just have people know exactly what's coming up, either War of Hordes, 40k, or occasionally Malifaux or Infinity, and that way people would be happy with my content. If you want awesome fantasy, I definitely recommend checking out Gaming with a Cooler. Owen from Mini Wargaming, after he left Mini Wargaming, he now does fantasy battle reports. But in the future, if I do fantasy, I'm thinking of ogres or orcs and goblins. They're pretty fun. Mr. Hazza 908. This is an interesting question. I'm going to have to look it up in my codex. But he said, is it possible to have a big mech with a shock attack gun riding on a warbike? I'm asking this because there is nowhere saying it can't happen, and it seems slightly overpowered. And I looked at the rules, and I could be wrong, people. Now, it might be in an FAQ saying don't be silly, but it says Big Macs. We're looking under Big Macs. It says a Big Mac may replace a Sluggo with one of the following: a custom force field or a shock attack gun. And then it also says is a Big Mac may take items from the mech weapons, melee weapons, runs the squigs, orc no we what's, or give some orc lists. So let's look at those lists. And according to that, it gives some orc or a gork or mork. Let's see. Where does it say? Warbike 3 cannot be taken by a model with mega armor. That's all it says for Warbike. So now that they've allowed Big Macs to take a Warbike, which is an orc no what's, which he can take, I think he can. Until they FAQ it. I think that's going to be awesome. I think people should create their own, like, shock attack gun bikes. I should do that. That'd be fun. Yeah. Good point. So Mr. Hazza 908, I think the answer is yes right now. I don't see anywhere it says it doesn't. I'd prefer, to be honest though, I think I would take a Big Mac with a custom force field as opposed to shock attack gun, because then you have a mobile 5-up invol for your army, which is used, it'd be pretty nice. And it said nothing can eat through an invol, so that's good, unless it's strength D. Lycan Up in Smoke said, "Hi Jay, I really enjoyed your last battle report, Space Wolves versus Orcs. Thank you. I had a great time playing it. It felt like classic Jay Knight battle report with lots of enthusiasm, 2 well-painted armies, and 2 players having fun." That's exactly what I'm trying to get back to. Painted armies, fun, and just having a good time. That's what I'm going to do. You got some rules wrong. Yes, definitely agree. But it's 40k. No one can remember it all the time. Exactly. And I did have a rules you get wrong episode discussing each rule that we got wrong. I will certainly be joining the warp as soon as I get paid. Ha ha ha. Keep up the good work, Jay, and thanks for making videos. Thank you very much, Like and Smoke. I really appreciate you joining the warp. Obviously, this is not a blatant commercial, but if you want to go check out the warp, check it out for a free 14-day trial. And by the way, another thing is I will be doing kind of like, not commercials at the end of my videos, but I will be mentioning the warp from now on certain videos. And now I know that once I start mentioning money and paid subscriptions, I'm going to alienate my audience. But here's the thing. If you don't have the money, or if you just don't want to subscribe to the warp, I am not going to be mad at you. I am not going to blame you. I am not going to punish you in any way. My goal is to make as much content as I can. Unfortunately, I can't just do it for free, because then I couldn't live. I just want to, as I said in my videos, if I just make enough as a minimum wage job, that I can replace my other job, I can do it full time, make tons of videos. My goal is to produce as many free and as many warp videos as I can per week. And that way, if you can't do the warp, you're still going to get some awesome videos coming your way. And that's my goal. Yes. Kurt Miller, what do you think about the doom and gloom about orcs? All the doom and gloom. Unfortunately, all right, let me say this as well. I did an orc codex review. Go check it out if you want. And I was pretty doomy and gloomy, admittingly, in the first 2 or 3 videos. I was pretty bummed because like the new mob rule to me was like, ah. And a couple of combinations like, ah. And the Luda's being moved out of the elite section, ah. But then I read it a bunch of times, and throughout the videos, each video I get more and more positive. And I apologize to you people who viewed the codex review and thought I was really depressing and lamenting on it. I really didn't mean to. I was just trying to be honest. But I did look back, and I was being a Debbie Downer. So I'm sorry. You know what? And I don't know if you noticed this, but once I changed my shirt, I was way more positive. Maybe it was the shirt. The green shirt brought out the positivity in me, and I was focusing more on what can we do with this new codex as opposed to what have we lost. Now in retrospect, and I will be doing a video about a month later after the codex, I do think this isn't a bad standalone codex. I really don't. It's just unfortunately we got so spoiled by Phil Kelly in the previous edition's codex, or like 3 editions ago's codex, that it's just this codex is hard to live up to a previous Phil Kelly codex. But as a standalone codex, it's good. It has some good combinations. Will it defeat Tau and Eldar pretty easily? No, but you can. Any army can win on any day. That's what I believe. I still think they're going to be amazing army, especially with formations in the WoG Oscul book. Now, that comes out today, and I will be reviewing it once again on Monday. I haven't been able to get to my store, because my store's way out in Waterloo, so it's hard to drive to. But I will definitely be doing a codex review, hopefully next week, probably around Monday, maybe Tuesday, and I will definitely be checking it out. I still think the orcs will still have flavor, and I still think the orcs can be run similar to how they used to be. You just will have to take minimum squads of boys if you want to run bikers. But now you can have a big mech on with a custom force field, or possibly a giant, scary, shock attack gun on a bike. And if that's true, yeah, that made my day, and that makes this codex awesome. So I really love the Gorkanaut. The Morkanaut, and I really do love the fact that I can take like 18 cans now. If they wound the cans, they might be in trouble, but still, 18 cans. That'd be pretty fun. I can't complain about that, as I say. So I apologize if I sounded like too much of a Debbie Downer in my codex review. Yeah, I didn't really mean to. It's just a little bit saddening. Rather than focusing on the goods, I was focusing on the bads. Will we see any live battle reports sometime in the near future? Possibly. It's always a possibility. Because I used to do it for my live shows, and then my computer crashed, and I stopped doing the live show. I don't know about live battle reports. We have to see. I don't know how I'd set it up. I guess I could potentially set up my computer in the other room. But right now, the new way I have this in the house was my old house. I had a table near my computer. In the new house, my computer's in like the opposite side of the house from where I do battle reports. But you never know. I might be able to set it up differently one day, and we'll try it. Silence 1313 says, I'm not overly thrilled with the new Orc Codex. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, and you know my opinions too. Some goods, some bads. Sean Moole said, Hi Jay, will you be playing your Orcs more often with the new Codex release? Definitely. The next 3 to 4, at least the next 2 or 3 battle reports will definitely have Orcs in them. And then from then on, they're going to be in a normal rotation with armies. I will definitely be playing a lot of Orcs. And as well, I'll be trying them out in different combinations against different armies. I want to try them against Tyranids and see if they'll do better against Tyranids. I think they'll probably have the same result, because Tyranids always have slightly a one-up on Orcs, but I think it'll be fun. And now they have the Morkanaut. Let's see how the Morkanaut does against some Tyranids. Blows them up, maybe. We'll try them out, for sure. Also, will we start a new army from scratch, or will we just buy all the new stuff? Yes. Well, I will be starting a new army eventually. It'll be Imperial Fists. But I like painting, so I would prefer to buy my armies from scratch. Or, if I buy them used, I'll strip them and paint them. I enjoy watching your videos. Too great fun. Thank you very much. Alex Morrow. What happened to your commission service? Did that just fall off? Or no more time? It was just no more time. I still have the website active, but I might deactivate it because it costs a lot to maintain for some random reason. What basically happened was I started doing commissions, and I really enjoyed commissions, but they took a little bit of time, and I wasn't making a lot of money because I don't charge a lot. I really enjoyed it. I worked. My commission people were all awesome. Almost every one of my of my clients were really good people, and I enjoyed painting for them. I ran out of time. And then when Mini Wargaming asked me to come back to Mini Wargaming, I had another job. And working 2 jobs, which combined were like 60 hours a week, I didn't have any time for commissioned painting. And my mentality is, unless I have the dedicated time to it, I don't want to do it, because then it'll just end up hurting me and hurting my clients. So does that mean I will never be accepting commissions again? No, by no means. I might accept them in the near future, but right now I'm too busy painting all my models for battle reports, but that will eventually run out one day. I will run out of models to paint, and I'll be happy that they'll all be painted, and then I'll be maybe commissioned. We'll see. But it's not dead for sure. It's just on the back burner, because right now I really want to focus on my videos. I really enjoy making videos. I love making videos. And before I did my commissions, I was making videos, and during my commissions I was making videos, and now after my commissions I'm making videos. And that's the thing. I'm done. This is not temporary for me. I want to make videos as indefinitely, you know. Troy G, you mentioned once upon a time that you left your post-grad program to take a job with Mini Wargaming. That's true. Odd but true. What degree were you pursuing? I was pursuing a PhD in integrative biology at the University of Guelph. I was working on ecology, so looking at conservation plans for migratory animals. And it was really boring. Yep. Fledian Squirrel Dude. Also great name. Fledian Squirrel Dude. Any thoughts on the upcoming game, Blood Bowl 2? I really, I have hopes for it. I think Blood Bowl had so much potential. So I really hope Blood Bowl 2 is good. You know, I haven't heard that many things about it, but I hope it's good, because Blood Bowl 2 would be good. That's the thing. Games Workshop tends to have really cool side games, but then they don't give them much love. You know, like Space Hulk was a great game, but then it only got a limited release and then it got stopped. Blood Bowl, limited release and then got stopped. I don't know. Adam Qualm, what are your thoughts on the new Orc mob rule and the new Here We Go? As I mentioned in my codex review, and I'm going to mention this without being as pessimistic, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It will hurt. It will hurt. Fear checks and morale checks now, because now that the number of boys in a squad doesn't affect their leadership, if you have a squad of 30 boys and you lose 7 of them or 8 of them due to shooting, you roll and it's almost a 50-50 failing. If you fail it, you're going to lose probably 3 more. That's it. You know, it's small squads. See, small squads used to fail anyway, so I don't think small squads are really going to be affected that much by it. Small squads would actually probably be better, because if you have a squad of 6 boys, like 5 boys with a knob, the odds are you're only leadership 7 anyway. So if you failed before, you'd fail now, and then you lose a squad of boys, and you know, hopefully you roll high on the chart. With a boss poll, you get to re-roll. So, you know. And here we go. Oh yeah, reroll dice from determining charge range. Red dice, not bad. It helps. As I said, orcs are going to be that army that they're going to try to assault you in a game that really doesn't prefer assaulting. But that being said, they might work. You know, you bring that many boys, you're going to do some damage. So we'll see. My thoughts on this codex are not as pessimistic as before. I'm going to try it out and I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to keep playing orcs regardless. I love them. Ranmo, I would like to see a bat rep of you playing Dark Angels. Not a lot of bat reps yet with 7th Ed and Dark Angels. No problem. Actually, I put one in the Warp the other day. It was Dark Angels versus Grey Knights. But I will be definitely putting the 2 codex. I don't know which one's going to be free or Warp, but I want to film some of the Orcs. So Orcs versus Dark Angels will be happening very shortly, and Orcs versus Tyranids will be happening very shortly. I don't know which one will be free, which one will be Warp. I should really alternate. I'm going to try to keep track of which armies end up being in the Warp and which ones will be free, and I'll alternate them. That way, Dark Angels will be, you know, I think it'll be try to be free. Yeah. Hi Jay. That was by Grandmo, by the way. This is Imperial Pursuit. Hi Jay. What are your opinions on the failed Kickstarter for Fallen Frontiers tabletop game? To be honest, I really missed it. I saw parts at the very beginning of the campaign. It looked like an interesting game, and it failed, unfortunately. Yeah, they gathered almost like 90%, I think. Oh, yes, it's right here. They gathered 89% of their goal and canceled. In my opinion, those Sykes Night Stalkers were one of the most beautiful designs I've seen in quite a long time. I agree. The models, yeah, the design of them looked great. I was quite surprised. And I was a little bit surprised that the only thing I can keep on track on this was I was a little bit surprised at the amount they made of their goal and then they canceled it. I figured if you made 90%, they had a pretty huge goal. I don't remember what their goal was, but 90% was pretty close to their goal. So either way, maybe they'll do it again in the future. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Unfortunately, I really should have maybe hyped it. You know, maybe I should have hyped it, and maybe that would have helped. But that's all I could have done. Maybe supported them. Yeah. Unfortunately, our niche is so tight. You know, we're a good niche, but we're small, and so if we don't get some of the support from our fellow niche people, we really crumple fast. And there have been people like even some fellow YouTubers of mine that I don't really know them too well, but my fellow YouTubers, some of them have tried to raise funds and failed as well, and it's unfortunate. Maybe next time, you know, again. Mr. Brightside, good name as well. Some good names. My viewers have good names. I like that. Hey Jay, awesome channel. Thank you very much. I know that you've been around a long time, but how do you think the introduction of super heavies, large miniatures has affected 40K? They put me off getting back in the hobby for years. Okay, my opinion is Games Workshop has been bringing slowly but surely larger models into the game for years. Monsters, creatures primarily. But lately, they've been dropping some big bombs. You know, the biggest one was the Riptide. The Riptide, in my mind, is one of the scariest single models in the game. And then we have the Wraith Knight. You know, a 4-wound, toughness 8 monstrous creature. And then the Imperial Knights. They come in, and they have Strength D in close combat. Strength D! And that was kind of like the beginning of the craziness. Because once you get Strength D into 40K, that's just opening up the can of worms. Strength D destroys the game because it just removed the models. You know, and there was a great battle report that I filmed with Mini Warrior that no one liked that had the Titan, the Scout Titan, and the Void Shield Generator versus an Elder Army that didn't have really anything, and it's just the Elder Army picking off pieces of, like, the guy would drop, the Space Marine player would drop high plates on the Elder player every turn, and the Elder player would just remove models. I don't know. That's the thing. Once you start bringing these things, the competitive scene gets silly and very hard to keep up with, and it will frustrate a lot of players who play competitively. In the end, it does kind of kill your competitive nature because you basically, once you start introducing these things, you know, as somebody who's about to enter a tournament, if you don't have these tools, you're going to lose. You either go for fun or don't go at all, or go for best painted. So I don't know. To me, I understand I play for fun, and that's the thing. What gets me through this, a lot of these things, is that I play for fun, and they're still competitive. As I said, you can play in the competitive game. You just need to pay and play the right armies. But I play for fun, and even though I'm getting tabled, I'll still have a good time. Also, Jay, there's been so much excitement about the genius of introducing a psychic phase in 40K, and I know you commented, and I was thinking the exact same thing. Am I the only one who remembers second ed, complex as it was? I got into 40K in second ed, and it brings back 7th edition reminds me of second edition in so many ways, minus a lot of the complexity. So I agree. David Battaglia, David, he's my homie. Jay, in the new Ork codex, which units do you think got the best improvements, cost, benefit? In the new codex, which change was the biggest letdown? All right, for me. The biggest letdown, unfortunately, wasn't a change. Luda's being moved from the elite section to the heavies was my biggest annoyance because I love Ludas, and there's no way they're going to survive in the heavy section for me because the heavy section to me is filled with cans. I love the can wall, and I'm not giving up a section of cans or a Morkanaut or a Death Dread for the Ludas. So my Ludas are going to sit on the shelf in a lot of times. Unfortunately, they would have been in the lists. And I was really kind of hoping that they'd move the opposite. I was thinking I kind of was hoping they'd move Flash Kits to Elites. Because them and Ludas have that similar flavor, and the flash kits only have strength 5 guns. So I figured they'd be making an amazing elite section. They'd be the best elite section, you know? Oh my goodness. So that, depressing to me. Storm Boys, I was really hoping that they'd keep their cool jump movements, and they didn't. And I was hoping that they would get to assault flyers like the rumors were. And that's not true, unfortunately. But that being said, what my favorite things about the new codex, first of all, I think the new force organization chart is interesting. I think it's going to lead to some fun lists. Second, the fast attacks in general got cheaper, including Storm Boys. They lost their effectiveness for like, whoo, but they got much cheaper. So I think actually most of the fast attacks are my favorite fixes. And plus now, the fast attacks can score, and they got cheaper. I think you're going to see me taking some fast attacks in the near future. I'm going to have to get some fast attacks. You know, to me, like, I totally can see Storm Boys being taken in squads of 30, or Death Coptas, or obviously DACA jets. And I really do like that the Burn Obama, the table for the Burn Obama got nerfed, or not nerfed, fixed. So it's less annoying if you don't hit your favorite thing with the chart. And war buggies afterwards. You know what? War buggies with the Scorcha. That'd be kind of fun. So yeah, fast attacks to me. That were my most favorite. Yeah, and I really do like the fact you can take squads of 6 cans. So 18 cans in a list with 3, mega armored big mechs. Couldn't toit. That's about it. Yeah. As I said, I'm positive thoughts. That's what I'm saying. Jay, my wife's birthday is... Oh, this will do, Dave Battaglia. My wife's birthday is coming up next week. Please consult with Mandy as to what would make a memorable birthday gift to such celebration. I'll have to do that. Maybe I'll make a video series called Ask Mandy. Next one, Stephen Mooney. Love your channel, mate. Thank you. 1K and 1.5K orc lists would be awesome, backed by your reasons why you choose the units you do in them. Thank you. Wait, that's a statement, not a question. That's actually what he's saying. I'm copying him. But it's meant to be a question and request. Also, overviews of lists in general would be great. There are a few channels on YouTube that offer them, but I quite dig your style, so a roundup of what works well in each force would be awesome. Again, backed by why you'd make the choice you make. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that actually. First thing I want to do, this is a preview for you guys. I want to make a How to Play 40K series, breaking down the game 40K in 7th edition. Then second, I want to talk about Tyranids, Orks, Grey Knights, and Dark Angels. The biggest changes for them in 7th edition. Certain armies got changed in certain ways. The fact that everything can score now makes things scary for most armies. Yeah. So that's cool. I want to discuss them, and then I would love to do army building, like Orcs army building, Tyranids army building, Grey Knights army building, and Dark Angels army building, and maybe Necrons eventually, and Imperial Fists. So yeah, definitely. The content will be coming. I just got to get into my groove, and I've been just slowly getting into the groove of making these videos. Last month, I made 48 videos or something crazy like that. Some of them were free, some were warp, and it was just, I'm going to keep doing it. Expect more videos in the near future, for sure. Definitely. And finally, Mr. Brightside. Now I got the song Mr. Brightside by The Killers stuck in my head. What's the deal with the new Big Mech model? Is there a new Big Mech model? Is it the same old model? Oh, yeah. Sorry, next comment, next sentence. Exactly the same as before. Yeah. GW too lazy to do a decent model for someone like Wazdaka? Yeah, so basically that comment. I don't know, because Games Workshop can only produce so many new models per edition, and this one they focused on, the Mega Knobs, the Shock Attack Gun. To me, I think, my opinion of it was, I think that the Shock Attack Gun looks amazing. I completely agree. I think a new Big Mech model instead of a new Shock Attack Gun model. A plastic kit, for the Big Mech would have been great, because then you can have the custom force field if you want, or a power claw if you want. You can customize a kit that would allow you to customize your Big Mech would have been amazing. And that being said, the previous model for the shock attack gun was still pretty nice. It was a pretty nice model. I prefer the model for the shock attack gun over the model for the Big Mech. So I would have personally produced a new Big Mech model, and with customization they would have sold a lot of kits. Versus the shock attack gun, which to me, as I said, the kit looks amazing. I love the lightning coming from it, but I don't know. And then the mech, kind of vestigial because you get a mech still with a squad of Ludas and a squad of Burna Boys. I love the new Pain Boy. He's awesome. You know, and I love the new. Oh, the flash kits are amazing. I love them. I love the new Mega Armor kits. You know, and I actually really like the Big Mac Mega Armor. So we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're too lazy. I think that they had just a lot that they wanted to accomplish. They'd release a lot of models with this codex. There were a lot of models. The Gorkanaut. You know, I think maybe it'll be in the near future. And with Wazdaka, yeah, I think with Wazdaka and Zogwart, they just decided to let the models go. They did give you the ability to take a really cool bike, and that was unfortunate because I love Wazdaka. From the fluff perspective, he was one of my favorite characters. I didn't take him a lot because I didn't like. I don't do a lot of bikes, but he was awesome. So it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, and that same thing happened with Tyranids, and that's what they're going to do. From now on, every model they're either going to put out the model immediately, or remove it. And the thing is, from a business perspective, I don't think it's laziness. I think it's from a business perspective, it does make sense, because most people who wanted Wazdaka already customized their Wazdaka and created one. He wasn't that hard to create. So you created him. So if they, instead of creating a new model like the Gorkanaut or Morkanaut, they created a Wazdaka, it wouldn't have been purchased as much because people already had their Wazdaka. If you liked Wazdaka, you would have already created him because he never had a model. So instead they removed him and forced us to buy the new models that are really cool looking too. But as I said, I can't complain. The new models look amazing. GW makes amazing models. Sometimes their rules frustrate me. I play for fun, but the aesthetics will never, cease to me. They're amazing. I love them. And that's it. Those are my comments. So this video is 42 minutes. Good thing I'm rendering in low quality. And that's it. So I thank you so much for watching this video. Please like the video, but most importantly, comment in the comment section down below for next week's Q&J. Leave me Qs. I will J them. And we'll discuss things. We'll have a great discussion. If anything I said you want to add on, Q&J. Put in the discussion. Stay tuned for more videos. I really hope I didn't offend anyone with my language. I don't think I said anything. That's okay. So please like the video. Subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. Stay tuned for more videos. The videos are coming. And they're coming in large quantities. And that makes me a happy Jay. So until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.